All right, so today we have the Yamaha XT225. This is the 2007 version, so the last before it got succeeded by the XT250. It is a 223cc air-cooled engine. It is carbureted, not fuel injected. The XT250s are. Other than that, this is a stock exhaust. Everything's pretty stock. It is a single cylinder, obviously a 4-stroke. There's the carburetor, as you can see. Spark plug, single cylinder in there, all that. It's a 6-speed manual, so it's low geared for trails, so usually you'll be in 6th gear by 35 miles an hour. So it's good, but that makes it good for riding in the trails or if you want to ride on the street. That's why it's dual sport. All right, more about the actual specs of this bike. It's a single overhead camshaft, SOHC, and it also has front disc and then rear drum back here, which I kind of wish it was rear disc, and you can do a modification to make that rear disc, but it's a lot of work, and I've already done a lot of work to this bike, so I'm not going to do that. But front is disc, so that's good. I also threw some aftermarket foot pegs over here. These were about 80 something dollars. They're custom welded from a private seller, and also have these passenger foot pegs over here in case you want to ride around with somebody. All right, as for modifications for this bike, we can start from the front to back. Down here, got some new bearings, brand new spokes, brand new rim, all OEM. Pulled this tire from the other rim, but this tire it still has its nipples on here, so I chose to keep them on there. They're already fine. They were built 2 years ago. So basically brand new. I kept those on there. Also brand new fork seals over here and dust seals. And I put these new fork boots on, these royal blue fork boots. The original color was black, but I think this kind of goes better with the color scheme, and they're brand new. The other one was kind of ripped. So did that in the front. Up here by the main modular section, I got some Pro Taper hand grips and some little Yamaha donuts on both sides, which I kind of think are cool with the color scheme. And that's it for the up front, and then we can kind of move down here. All right, as for the middle kind of center area and the rear of this bike, I got a brand new air filter and bracket in there, and then also for the drivetrain, brand new chain, sprocket, and front sprocket. So rear and front sprockets are all brand new. Did that a couple months ago. And then towards the back, I got this brand new matte black rear rack kind of thing going on, and then a little surf rack over here from Ho Stevie out in California. Thank you for that. And this just generic saddle bag I got on Amazon. So that is about it. I had to replace a bulb and a couple other small things, just maintenance things. But that's pretty much it from like just pulling the bike apart and fixing it up, making it look better. And I also forgot to mention this thing has roughly 20 horsepower, which is all right. I mean, I wish it had more, at least for street riding, but it'll do. I mean, I still hit around 70 on this thing, and it claims it can go 84, so plenty of power if you're a beginner rider. Still good if you just want to look for some relaxing riding. Obviously it's not a 2-stroke 450 Honda, and you're not going to go crazy on it and do stunts, but it's just what you need as a dual sport, just to commute around or do whatever you want to do, stuff like that. And also I think 14 pound-feet of torque as well. All right, as for comfortability of riding and the controls, you got a 31.9 inch seat height, so a 5'5" rider could easily ride this thing without having any trouble. And up here, pretty simple, basic motorcycle controls. Got the electric start right here, so it's not kickstart. Kill switch, on, off, lock, ignition. A little cool gas cluster thing right here that you can reset every time you fill up your gas. And then neutral, high beams, and turn signals. I think the XT250 actually has a gear indicator. This just tells you if you're neutral or not, so you kind of have to remember what you're in. And then also your high beam, low beam switch, horn, and the actual turn signal switches as well. Obviously clutch, front brake, rear brake. And I also had to loop this because it was a little tight, so make sure if you're buying this thing used, the clutch lever is pretty loose. You don't want to be like just pulling down like Iron Man on this thing. So yeah, and also I have this wireless phone charging mount that's hooked up to the battery, so obviously that's not stock, but it's great for this bike. So I don't know what brand it is, Kewig, and it works great. It charges my phone and keeps it intact when I'm going 70 miles an hour on the highway, so all good. All right, now that you have a gist of this bike itself, I'm gonna go for a cold start. I haven't driven it in at least a day or two, so it's carbureted, so I have to pull that choke out, turn it on, pull the choke, and just making sure it's cold. There you go, and let's crank it up. Again, still cold, so it'll probably blip a little. Still cold. Pretty nice sounding bike for a stock exhaust. Ooh! Sounds good. All right, now we have it out in the street. Let's take it for a test ride and kind of shift through the gears and see how it feels, how the gearing feels on the actual road. So let's do it. All right, guys, that wraps up that little speed run right there. I wouldn't even say speed run, just a little test ride. I got into all 6 gears towards the end. I got into 6 for a couple seconds, going around 40. So that's kind of how it feels to shift around in this thing. Again, it's lower geared for trail riding, but you can use it for whatever purpose. Like, I mainly ride it on the street. So that wraps up pretty much the whole video. Any questions, just leave down below about pretty much anything about this bike. I know it like the back of my hand at this point. I've done so much to it and ridden it so much. So yeah, leave any questions in the comment section, and subscribe if you want more.